air quality, water quality, food quality. These are the indicators which amount to our quality of life, basically like a standard of living. Indexes are made, they take measurements, they analyze the data, and this is done scientifically. But often the interpretations and the trends are not being reported to the whole world, the public at large. There may be a cover-up. Maybe people that have the data don't want to face it or to admit the truth. I just want to lay out some general ideas to try to get people on the same page. I would tend to say my belief, and my beliefs are always based on research, observation, logic, and how it fits into the bigger picture of the overall reality. So when it comes to the air, which is the entire atmosphere above our planet, and also which extends into caves and everywhere that air goes, it has generally deteriorated. You could almost say that it's being destroyed gradually. This comes from industrial civilization. This comes from the machines. Anytime that something is burned or made to combust, the combustible fuels for whatever application, it is releasing material into the air that should not be there. It wasn't there before, and it's something extra, something artificial, something not natural. Usually there is the law of what comes up or what goes up must come down. We are not sure how much of the particles that rise to the higher atmosphere, the stratosphere and above, may be escaping the Earth's outer sphere, the gravitational pull, if that's what will keep it there. We've talked a lot about ozone holes, and they were banning the use of hydrocarbons or fluorocarbons or freon. I think that's a brand name, trademark, because they found the connection of the emission of this gas was canceling out the ozone. And ozone, forgive me if I say a few things that might be technically or scientifically a little bit inaccurate. I think ozone is a variation of the oxygen molecule, and it's charged to a certain degree. It's probably an isotope, and in this part of our atmosphere it is created and it gathers up and seems to have a necessary function because our life has been developing under it. These are the natural overall conditions of the biosphere, and that if it changes, especially because of human causes, human effect, and as I said, the industrial civilization, then it's going to be a danger to us. And a lot of times there's this excuse, oh, we'll adapt. They don't use that word. They might not get that complicated. They'll just say we'll evolve, because evolve is a big buzzword. We as a species are going to deal with it. Well, actually, these things probably take many generations and many millennia. It's not something that can just happen overnight with you. You might have to reproduce and hope that your distant descendants have the capacity to deal with things. People also say this about radiation, so I'm going to get into any of the radioactive particles that could be affecting our planet. This entire planet is our home. And then there's even more questionable people who think they're going to go underground into climate-controlled conditions, and they're going to eat food in storage, or possibly they think they're going to produce food. It's not certain what they're going to do. I don't know if they've already done it, tried it out. It's almost as difficult and harrowing a task as going into a space capsule, a very tight space, and being stuck there. You can't get out. And when you're going to get out, when you have that opportunity, you have to decompress, you have to go through this whole process, and you're hoping that you come back to an atmosphere that's to your liking. You're hoping that it hasn't changed. Remember Planet of the Apes? They came back and they out of the space capsule, and all of a sudden the world has completely changed. They don't know what happened. An astronaut has to go through these things, supposedly, if they do as many space missions as they've said, if it's not a hoax. But it seems to depict people that get cut off from our home here. It seems to depict a temporary leave. You've got to create a closed environment for your shelter in the space capsule or the space station, and you have to have the proper mixtures. Like I said, this is all according to scientific data. They have to monitor everything that's in the air. They have to make sure it's just right, because if it goes wrong, they've only got this amount of it, and they can't just go somewhere else and try to get the good things that they need, the necessities of life. So they've only got one chance, and they monitor that with all this kind of, machinery and tanks of pressurized oxygen. I guess they have liquid oxygen. But what's in the air? Let's face that. We're talking about air quality. I just wanted to give you the background of why it's important and why we should know that there is something going on, but not to clutch at things and exaggerate it. And there is a proper way to look at this. First of all, I want to do a little prayer for you, because even though I'm scientific and I try to be level-headed and logical, rational, all that, I am that. But at times I have to call on the beyond, and I have to acknowledge the spirit that's within. Can't be seen, can't really talk that much about it, but I'm going to pray and make an invocation. I'm going to affirm all the things that I'm thankful for, what I know I'm dependent on. I'm going to be humble. Okay? Just a moment. I'm praying now on the air and good, I ask for that blessing. And then I seal it. I seal it off and I acknowledge it. I give confidence to it and faith that it will be received and answered, saying either Amen, so be it, that's the way it is. Thanks for your patience with that prayer. By the way, you could pray along with me. And also, that was non-denominational. It wasn't invoking any particular religion. So maybe it's okay for atheists, maybe not. Some hardcore atheists, I don't think they can handle what I just did. Air quality, if we understand what it is, leads us to the acknowledgement of how we need fresh, clean air. Feel that? You know? We're always breathing. Breathing is more constant and more important than drinking. It's more important than eating. Air is not free. It's not to be taken for granted. But look at everything on the lower point of view and go back up to air. We've got land in our homes and they're so polluted. I mean, I just want you to admit to that. I don't want you to jump up and start cleaning your space and, going haywire and paranoid. It's gotten like that over time. I'm talking about your homes. I'm talking about your apartment. I'm talking about if you live in a van or if you live in wherever, in the homeless shelter. These places accumulate pollution, which might be good. It's better than releasing it out into the atmosphere. Just contain it inside of these boxes. But there's all kinds of things. People have all kinds of things. You have an air filter. You have water filters. But look at your food. We're not normal anymore. People don't know what they should eat. What we call food is a far cry from what we should be doing. I would love to take all of you and give you an example, give you an experience. But you need to come to me to get that. The only thing you have right now is a video. And you're thinking, who's this guy sitting in his house? And he does the Peter-Appleseed channel. He shows you like some trees and chickens and stuff like that. I harvest my own food when I can. It's not in a box. Not like in some, or it's not in that multicolored box, like this. It's not something like, it's a big smiley face, a big slogan, how great it is. Fortified, preserved, it's the best, it's tasty. I don't need that. I don't need the commercial advertisement to know that I need to eat something good. I actually get something, it's got no packaging. How many of you live like that? How many of you have ever done that? And if not, I want you to know how sorry I feel that it's come to this. We really have lost our way. And I mean that. I want to convince you of that. I want to wake you up to that fact. Unless we reconnect and get back to basics with the food, we're not going to survive. Everything's going to come down. If things were to collapse, just to touch on the economy and the fears and the predictions that people are making, if they shut it down, there will be a rush on supermarkets to gather up whatever they can to add to your supply, to your prepper supply, and then it will run out. The supply chain, the deliveries, all that's going to shut down. They're going to shut down the petroleum, the gas pumps. People won't be able to drive anywhere. Things can't be delivered. Food can't be there. They'll shut down the electric. So you'll only have what you have at your ready, in your supply, wherever you're stashing it. Protect it with your dear life. It's not normal anymore, people. The only reason why we're probably going to go through hell and struggle is because we've gotten so far from what's normal and natural. Food quality is wonderful and amazing when you get it yourself, directly, without packaging. I've said enough on that. Let's talk about water quality just for a moment. And I've done entire videos about water. I want to remind you that in almost all places where there are cities and towns and highways, shopping plazas, all of these areas, and need I mention factories? They're the main concentration of the damage to water and air. Everything's become contaminated. They've spread it out. Yes, what are these things? And here's another thing where I hear is these lame, like totally erroneous, justification, or I don't know what it is. It's just like stupidity. Please don't come here with a comment to talk to me like this, where you're gonna say, where someone would say, oh, it's okay, all these things are organic, their chemistry is organic, it's all organic. They're not talking about food certified organic. They're talking about, it's organic, it comes from the earth, therefore it doesn't matter, it was here already. No. We as humans, using industry and technology, what we're doing is taking substance and we are changing it. We are changing things from their natural inert form. We are changing all kinds of substances, trying to do something with it. It's called industry, business. They want to sell something. So they dig it out of the ground, they scrape it up, whatever they're doing with it. And they tamper with it. They change it. This is what's going on. All the specialists are like, yeah, so what? You just said something in general. No. You're specifically all doing the same thing. It all boils down to the same thing. You're tampering with it. You're changing it willy-nilly just because you think you're so smart. You know how to change it into dust and recombine it. Well, guess what? All of those things have a negative effect. Everything produces waste. You either generate heat, steam that's contaminated, you generate solid waste, it has to be disposed of. They're toxic byproducts. How much of it has gotten into the water? Fracking is the new focus of people that don't want the water to be ruined. As soon as they do fracking in an area, like it's a guarantee that the entire aquifer, that means everybody's wells, are going to be ruined. They have demonstrated when you turn on the tap water where it's flowing out of your well, coming directly from the aquifer, the water that was wonderful for your grandparents to drink and have great healthy lives with pure air and pure water, you will turn on the tap after fracking and you will be able to light it or strike a match. I don't believe in lighters because there's another problem. Matches are more minimally polluting. Strike a match, touch it to the water, and it will light on fire. It's really not something that you want to be drinking. Don't compromise. it's only going to lead to your death. Have you been in the hospital? I feel very sorry for you. I can't visit all of you. I've already tried that. I've tried being in hospitals. It's never very good. I don't want to depend on it. I don't want to end up there. But if you are ending up there, or your loved ones are ending up there, wake up to the fact that it's not normal. We cannot live this way where this is happening. I'm telling you why it's happening. It's what the industry and what human activity have done to the quality of the food, the quality of the water, the quality of the air. Now let's get to the air. Let's finish off with the air. Because it's the last thing that's not really directly for sale. They're already selling us water for the past 20, 25 years. Who hasn't bought water? I think that 99.9% of the people who ever watch this, or everyone that you know, widen the circle of the network here, you have all purchased water. You either purchase all of your water now, or some of it when you want something really good, something cold, or maybe you get the carbonated one, whatever the case. Write to me here if you can dispute that. Say, no, I never bought water and I never will. You know what? I'll be really thankful for you if you've done that and you can stay healthy. You must be in Shangri-La or somewhere. I don't know where you are. Are you inside the earth? Go through the North Pole and you're down in there where it's pure? I don't know. How much money have we spent on water? Water. Do you realize that our parents and our grandparents for sure could never conceive of paying for water? RT on Breaking the Set, Abby, I forget her last name, Abby did an expose on Nestle. Just look that up if you want some more in-depth investigation on that. He was really specialized in it and attacks Nestle, rightly so. And I told her that. I made a comment. She never comments back, but you know how they are, these bigwigs. So Nestle is guilty. They're controlling the supply of water. They don't let anyone else get to it, and they just bottle it up. They've got all the industry set up. They bottle it up. They bottle up. Something that they get for fractions of a penny, they'll sell to you for $1. Do you understand the markup? Do you understand the profit margin? Do you understand the percentage? It's in the hundreds of percent. They have made something so criminal become completely lucrative so they can live in the lap of luxury at our expense. Not the expense only of our pocketbooks and our wallets, the expense of our lives. Because even that water is not good. They're not filtering it. They're just making sure it's not that cloudy or anything. It looks pretty good. Tastes kind of good. But do you know something? I can taste the difference. When I drink the water, I taste plastic. Folks, if you don't know what plastic tastes like, it's because you've been tasting it in your food and your water for too long, and you've gotten used to it. You think that's a normal taste. It's not. The inside of our bodies, our organs and our glands are getting coated with plastic that our bodies really don't know what to do with. And again, let's go back to that little excuse of the people that I'm so fucking annoyed at. Oh, we'll adapt. We're going to evolve. You know, we can eat plastic. It's called evolution. Listen, microbes maybe can do it, but they've already shown that these type of things will grow around the vents that shoot out the petroleum on a natural basis, at a natural rate, underneath the sea. You know, these things have evolved for millions, maybe billions of years. That's what they probably come out of it. They probably came into being at the same time that petroleum did, and have always existed that way. Humans have nothing to do with these microbes that somehow can be compatible with petroleum. Humans are different. We're complex, and therefore we're more sensitive. I'm not saying we're completely sensitive. You know, we have to have an immune system, and occasionally it's been challenged, and that's when you get sick. But guess what? We can't just say we're going to go around eating plastic. We're not androids. Actually, I want to say that I have some doubt about a few of the politicians, but we're not really androids. We're not plastic bodies. Only plastic in the virtual figurative sense. Plastic. I am plastic because my spirit is the real body. You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about petroleum byproducts. Things that make plastic. Here, let me show you. This, here, wow. You know, everything. Whoa, polyester. Whoa, look at the... I can't even show you everything. I have to bring everything of my... It's all containing plastic. Wow, the mouse. My God, my hand's on this all the time. My hand's resting. It's rubbing off the plastic. It's all plastic. Bowling balls are plastic. You know this. And all the plastic is getting into us, but you got to limit that. How much plastic can you eat? Oh, not a solid piece of plastic, though. You probably choke on it. I'm talking about the particles that get in there. See, the particles. This video ought to be about particles. Like, we've got to focus on the fact that you can't see it, but it's there. Something is a dust or a powder or granular. This is what comes out of industry. No matter what they do, there will be a waste product. It's getting into the food. They put it in there on purpose. And then when it comes to the water, they're putting fluoride in it. Oh, of course you heard that. Even Alex Jones told you. Fluoride is a byproduct, a waste product of an industry. They're trying to get rid of it. They're spreading it all around. You can't get water out of your well anymore. Not because you can't, it's because they won't allow you to. Because they want to sell you their water. And if you don't like the tap water they're selling you from the municipal supply, which is fluoridated, then you've got to buy water, and they're selling it to you anyhow. And on and on and on. Oh yeah, you can buy a filter. Well, they're selling you a filter. Oh, and then when the filter gets dirty, well, we've got to sell you another filter. That's another industry. And on and on and on and on. Don't you just love the insanity? That's why I have to talk like this. This is how I get when I'm totally fucking pissed and it just seems hopeless. Now let's get to the air. Particles in the air are making the air quality horrible, unlivable. I've been noticing more and more videos from people, I'm not going to name any names, but they're showing the sky wherever they are, not just in the cities or along the highways. They're showing the sky in nature, in the mountains, and they're saying, look at this sky, the clouds are coming down, weird shaped, weird colors. The sky is coming down, it's a haze, it's some kind of fumes, like you're in smog in the city in the summer. Not a lot of Chinese people will get to watch this, but have you heard that some of the worst air quality is in the Chinese cities? What about Mexico City? What about how LA is in the summer? Or New York City? They say they've taken care of a lot of it. They say, like, for example, in Colorado, you cannot have a basic, inefficient wood stove anymore. It's got to have two-stage burning. It's got to be, like, sophisticated. Otherwise, it puts so much smoke out into the air in the winter when they burn the wood, and if you don't burn it efficiently or completely, all that goes out, all that soot, all that, it just adds to the particles in the air. We're not all smokers, and smokers like to smoke tobacco or whatever they're smoking. But I'm telling you people, when you breathe the air, you might not be a smoker, but I still have to ask you, what are you smoking? Because there's smoke, there's haze, there's fumes, there's poisonous pollution. It's killing us. I'm not joking around. I don't know how else to get through to you. I'm making the video, what is it, 29 minutes? I'm pleading with you. I'm saying we have to do something about it. And the first thing is information, information. Talk with me. Listen. I'm getting you to the same page. I know all these things. And I'm saying, what do we do? The latest thing now is chemtrails. What are they spraying? We've been aware of this now. The first time I heard about it was like, what, 14, 15 years ago? How come nobody knows where it's from, who's doing it, and how to stop it? 15 years. 15 years. What? Can we go to the airport and find out? Can we go en masse? Do I have to lead you? Do we have to go march in there? Motherfucker, I will go in there. When people are ready to get to... Okay, who's doing it? Who are the pilots? What's in that drum over there in the hangar? You see what I'm saying? I cut to the chase. Excuse me for yelling. When there's a whole crowd of 1 million people around me, I don't need a bullhorn. You'll hear me. But let me tone it down here for the little webcam video that I got to give to you at this point, where I'm wanting to reach you. I'm wanting to bring you people together so we can save ourselves. I'm pleading with you. I'm coming to you with the facts. Because I'm someone who knows, and I'm responsible, because if I don't tell you, no one else is going to tell you, show you, point out everything that's going on. The industry is what's killing us. Is these people, and why do they do it? Why do they try to build a better mousetrap? Why do they try to get you to depend on something? Because they got to sell to you. And every time they sell to you, you have to realize, put it together, they are putting pollution, toxic particles into your food, your water, and your air. You can't be going around smiling about this. You can't go to Whole Foods and think you're going to buy something and you'll escape from it. That's still plastic packages. They still sell GMO food. They still have trucks bringing that stuff in. They're polluting the highways. They still have their warehouses and everything. They're still selling it to you. Why don't you just grow your own food? Protect your own part of land. Keep it pure. Keep the water coming out of it pure. See, all these things are stopgap measures. You can't settle for those. You can't be in the city and justify the fact that you're going to come to me and say you know what's going on and you're spiritual and natural. I'm the one who can tell you, who's righteous, who says this is what we should do. But yet none of you want to admit to that. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, well, we can't support the people that need the money. And we can't make money ourselves. Well, see, this is the problem. I just told you. Every time they do some industry, we make this and we go to sell to the people. They got to make money so they can buy it, so keep in power and pollute everything. More and more particles are going into the water and the air. The proof is there. I started this by saying there's scientific measurements that you can do. Sometimes, if you want the proof, if you want to face the measurements, the empirical evidence, hook up with a university. Make friends with someone in college in some science program. Say, hey, listen, do you guys know anything about testing the water? Do you have those kits? Do you have, like, litmus tests? Can you find out the pH balance? I'm going to throw a bunch of things out of here. This is scientific, you know, if you want to go into more details. If you can't believe me, I tell you, I already did that. With the air, they've got to gather up the air. They've got to test it. There's ways they find out how much of a balance, oxygen, nitrogen, whatever's in there, hydrogen, these different gases, those elements. But what's attached to those? How much of it's particulate matter, like microscopic pieces, like metals, hydrocarbons, carbon. Carbon is CO2, these types of things. You got to see what's in the air. Now, when this haze comes down and stuff, there's various different reasons it could happen. There might be a fire a couple hundred miles away. What you're getting from the fire, though, listen to this carefully, people. You love the fire departments, huh? I wish the fire department would listen in here. Why do you people allow the fires to go for so long? You want it to burn. You see, you want it to. You're told you want it to. You're explained that the method is, oh, let it burn out to here. You're supposed to stop these things immediately. And then you throw chemicals on it. It's called fire retardants. You want to suppress the fire. Guess what you're breathing in, people? When you get that smoke, it's not just the wood. which we know is pretty bad because none of you want to be smoking wood. But even though the paper in your tobacco cigarettes is made out of wood, yeah, you're smoking wood slowly but surely. But not all of us want to be smoking wood. So when you breathe in that smoke, you'll be smoking a lot of wood. That's a big pile. Why don't you just shove a telephone book up your nostril and light it and just breathe that whole sucker in? Why don't you? Because that's what's happening to us. So when you're downwind from a faraway wildfire, I'm getting to this. It's not only the smoke of the wood, it's the smoke of the stuff that they're putting on it. That's called chemicals. That's called stuff that you don't even know what it is because the name is so long that you have to be a scientist to even pronounce it. Folks, we are killing ourselves because if we don't stop all these industries, the quality of life is going to be done. There's not going to be any quality. You're not going to be able to measure it. We're going to be trying to exist within total pollution and toxins. I haven't even touched on what the Fukushima disaster is doing, but that's the top problem, apparently. I'm researching it. I'm doing all my other videos about it. Talk about the quality going down. When your hair falls out, your nails start falling out, your skin starts to peel and get like pustules and all that, and then your eyeballs start to fall out like really quickly within the space of a few weeks or months, that's what the particles are doing. And by that point, don't try to watch any more of my videos. You need to probably say your last prayers. And it really has been nice knowing you. I hope that doesn't happen. And I think that one of the main guarantees in the next coming years is that you need to get together with me so that we can figure out, we can do workshops, we can make sure in your local area. And I'm not going to just accept that you're in your local area for good reason. Now, I'm not coming to the cities. But if we get together and I tell you and I give you advice, it could help you. Now, I'm not selling anything here to you. I do everything by trade. That's why the government can't touch me. So think about that too. It's not I'm coming to you to sell it to make some money. I don't live that way. And in the future, I promise you, that's not how we're going to live. Because if we do things out of love and we trade it, our air quality and our water quality and our food quality is going to be so incredible. It's going to be like being in paradise in the Garden of Eden again. Without the sin, without the mistakes, without the confusion and the punishment, we're going to be in the Garden of Eden. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take another few videos where I've got to talk for hours and hours and hours to convince everybody, to wake you up. This has been probably one of my most honest, epic talks, and I hope that you appreciate it. Share this with all your friends who are willing to listen, and I hope that it's inspired you. I hope that you have a long and healthy life, but it's not going to come for free, not in this age that we're living in.